Hello, this is Kevin from AMT Software, and welcome to the fourth in a series of video lessons intended for users who are new to Prospector. If you haven't gone through the previous lessons, you should go do that now. The lessons pick up where the previous lesson left off, so to be on the same page, you should go through all the lessons up to this point. Okay, let's get started. First, I want to recap how we got here. In the first lesson, we created our first project. We specified a job name and a project name and gave it a part data file. We also defined the first setup, getting the part data into machine position. In the second lesson, we talked about the user interface, the menu bars, the toolbars, status bar, working in the 3D view, and most importantly, the program list. In the third lesson, we created our first 3D program. Went through the project wizard, program wizard, gave it a window, which is a cutter containment boundary, specified the strategy, tool, and settings, other parameters for that strategy. When we got a gray ball, hit the build button to actually build it and get the green ball, and that's where we are today. So today we're going to talk about the visualizing the cutter path and what we can do working with programs. As usual, the right click on any of these nodes will bring up a context-sensitive menu, and programs are no different. There's a lot we can do with programs: loading, storing, cut, copy, paste, delete. We can create a new 3D program after this one, 2D. A lot we can go through. Today we're just going to talk about loading and storing and activating programs. So I could use that menu, or I can come up to program and the program menu and hit load. But the easiest way to do it is just to double click on the program. So when I double click, it loads the cutter path. One thing you'll notice is that when a program is loaded, this blue dot appears next to the green ball. You can have any number of programs loaded in a project at one time. You know which ones are loaded by the blue dot next to the ball. All right, what do we have here? Well, we've got quite a lot of lines here, and for a little easier visualization, I'm going to hide the part data. I do that by coming up to this icon, Show Part, and clicking it and disabling it. So now the part is hidden, and I'm just looking at the program. And I see we got several colors here. We've got red, blue, and some green. Red is rapid motion. These are rapid motion, and the blue is cutting at the cutting motion at the cutting feed rate, and green is cutting motion at the ramp feed rate or slow feed rate. Okay, I'm going to bring my model back now. Another way of visualizing it is by making it active. I'm going to make the program active, and to do that, I'm going to position the cursor near the point and the cutter path and a point where I want to activate it. And then I'm going to hit Shift F as in find, and that makes the program active. You can only have one program active at a time. So what happens here? The blue dot changed into a little hand, a little pointer finger, and that says this guy is the active program. Another thing that changed down in the status bar is I've got this position X, position Y, and position Z. That is the tool position on the program. So right now it's at 0, 0, 12.5, which is my home position. X, Y, and Z still update for the inferencing down here. But this appears whenever you activate a program. So it tells me where I'm at. Now I can step through the program using a couple of keys, and those are X as in X-ray. X will move forward, and Shift X will move backwards. Like I had Z and Shift Z for zoom in, zoom out. X and Shift X will step forward or step back. And I can hit the X key, and I can hold the X key down, and it'll start moving through the whole program. And again, Shift X will reverse, go backwards. Another way of looking at this program is to use the simulate icon. And that's this icon right up here. When I click on simulate, I get a media player type control that comes up on top of the view. And what that does is that will only show up to where my active program is. So now all those other sticks are gone. All the other motions are hidden until I get to them. So I've got my my rapid from my home position. I'm going to plunge down, ramp down into the first level, and it started cutting it. And X and Shift X still work while you're simulating. Or I can use any of these controls just like any other media player. I can step forward. If I didn't want to use X, I can use that, step back. Or more importantly, I can play. And this kind of gives me this animation of the tool as it cuts the part. Fast forward and rewind also work. Okay. To get out of simulate, I can either hit that icon again to get rid of it, or I can just hit this X right at the top right of the control. And now my program's back. It's still active. And to deactivate it, I use the S key, S as in save. It's not really saving it, but that's going to deactivate the program. So it's no longer active, and I got the blue dot next to the ball, tell me that's still loaded. And then to store it, I'm going to double click again, and that stores the program. Okay, so we learned how to load a program and store a program, activate and deactivate, and step along using either the X keys or the simulate control. Well, I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please give us an email. Send us an email at support@amt-software.com. In the next lesson, I'll go over the remaining stock model, and we'll be making some more programs. See you then.